Our vaccine rollout is accelerating and going very, very well. Minister Dix will be talking a little bit about that later on. I myself received my AstraZeneca vaccine a few days ago. I'm feeling fine, and I encourage all British Columbians to take the first vaccine offered to them. Dr. Henry will talk about changes in public health orders, or rules rather, about how those vaccines will be utilized, but it's a vital tool in our toolbox to make sure that we keep people safe and we get to the end of the line. I also want to take a few moments to talk about the limits on our public health care system. Again, Minister Dix and Dr. Henry will talk about impacts on our acute care system, but I want to talk a little bit about the impacts on the people that have been keeping our acute care system going for the past 14 months. Our nurses, our care aides, our doctors, who have not paused to party on the beach, but have focused all of their energies on keeping us all safe. And I lift my hands to them in an enormous amount of gratitude on behalf of all British Columbians for the extraordinary sacrifices they continue to make, putting themselves on the line to the verge of exhaustion, keeping their fellow British Columbians well during a global pandemic. An absolutely extraordinary effort by extraordinary people, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart. So how do we get through the next couple of weeks? We're in a serious situation. Minister Dix will talk about the numbers. But we require serious measures if we're going to get to May Day, to the the May long weekend, and salvage our summer. We want to have a safe and fun summer, but we will not do that if we lose sight of the objectives ahead of us. So when it comes to travel, Dr. Henry has been saying for months and months and months, stay in your territory, stay in your community. This is not the time to load up the Winnebago and travel around British Columbia. So in order to protect the loved ones that we hold so dear and to keep the strain off of our public health care system, we've been working with representatives from the tourism industry to reduce, in fact, to eliminate bookings from people outside of a particular area. If you live in the Fraser Health area, by all means, take a few days, get outside, perhaps go to a campground in your local area, but do not try and book somewhere outside of your area because the tourism operator in that community will not book you passage. This is a great step forward by the tourism industry. I want to thank them for working with government and with public health to make sure we can achieve this objective. If we can't do it without an order, we're prepared to bring an order in. But at this point, non-essential travel should be confined to local travel only. I'm confident that most British Columbians want to follow that order and will follow that order as we go forward. At the same time, we want to make sure that we are telling people that this is not just our best wishes or that you follow best efforts, but there will in fact be orders in place. So on Friday, Minister Mike Farnworth will issue orders under the Emergency Program Act to restrict people's ability to leave their health authority. This will be conducted through random audits, not unlike roadside stops for counterattack during the Christmas season. They will be susceptible to all travelers, not just a few travelers. And again, they will be random, and there will be a fine if you are traveling outside of your area without a legitimate reason. We will be consulting with the BIPOC community to make sure that we bring forward these restrictions in a way that does not give anyone fear that there will be additional repercussions. This is about travel. There will be no additional authority given to police. This will be a random audit to ensure people are following the guidelines. As I say, the vast majority of British Columbians are doing that right now. It's for that small group of people that are not listening, are not paying attention, and putting their fellow members of the community at risk. That's who we're focusing on. At the end of this week, BC Ferries will stop accepting bookings for recreational vehicles like campers and trailers. BC Ferries will also be contacting their passengers that have booked reservations to make sure that their travel is essential and is not leisure travel. We'll also, of course, be extending this throughout into the end of the long weekend. So traditionally at this time of year, BC Ferries will be bringing on more ferries to meet the demand. They'll not be doing that this year, and I want to thank BC Ferries for stepping up to make sure that we can use this piece of transportation to restrict travel into Vancouver Island and off of Vancouver Island. In addition, we'll be putting new border signs along the Alberta border, reminding our travelers coming from outside the province that unless they're coming for essential business, they should not be here. They should be back in their home communities. The added advantage, of course, is provinces like Ontario and soon to be Quebec, I suspect, are saying to their citizens, stay home. Dr. Henry, Minister Dix, and myself have been saying that since September. And I'm grateful that other provinces have come to the point of view where they're saying to their citizens, best to stay in your local community. We certainly endorse that. And by working with the tourism sector, we'll be saying to those who are trying to book accommodation from outside of BC, you won't be able to do so. These measures are designed not to put more stress on an already stressed tourism sector. Quite the contrary, we're working in collaboration with the tourism sector to make sure that they can have a positive summer and a fall and a winter that will try to make up some of the fallback that they've seen as a result of COVID-19. With respect to the circuit breaker restrictions that were brought in to battle the spring wave of the pandemic, this will be a surprise to no one. Those will be kept in place until after, again, the May long weekend, 5 weeks from now. I also expect that this is going to have an impact on people and businesses, and we understand that. And I want to make it abundantly clear that the circuit breaker programs that were put in place by government to help those businesses through will be extended as well. And so those businesses should not be fearful that their initial application is their only opportunity. They'll be able to make a second application to get through the second part of the circuit breaker. With respect to workplaces, Dr. Henry has been saying for some time that we need to make sure that when there are outbreaks in a business, that those businesses are not in a position to continue to spread the virus, and we'll be using WorkSafe inspectors to close those businesses if required, to contain outbreaks and to make sure that we're keeping people safe. All of these measures are designed with one purpose in mind, to get us all 4.9 million British Columbians to the end of the pandemic. This is done with a heavy heart, but it's done with a resolute purpose that together for this next 5 weeks, we can get to the end. Minister Dix is going to tell us that 30% of British Columbians that are going to be eligible for vaccinations have been vaccinated. And that's going to only continue in the days and weeks and months ahead as supply allows. We'll be able to do so much more once we get through the May long weekend, provided we follow the guidelines that have been put in place, now turned into orders, and we focus on the things that matter, making sure that our families are safe, making sure our communities can come out of COVID-19 stronger than ever before. And most importantly, I want people to think about those nurses and those care aides and those doctors and all of the people in our front line who have been giving up every single week, every single month for over a year to keep British Columbians safe. We cannot thank them enough, but we can say to them that for the next 5 weeks, we will be at their side, trying to reduce their burden by doing the right thing, following the orders, and keeping everyone safe. Thanks very much.